Vampire Diaries Season 4 premiere. Let's get into it! Alright, I'm just going to talk about the scenes, because honestly, I got a lot to say about this. I was disappointed with this premiere, because despite Season 3 being a mess, as I've stated, there were interesting things that they could have worked on and touched on in this premiere to set up an awesome season. The episode opens, and Elena's in bed, and she's transitioning, so she feels weird, and Stefan informs her that she died with vampire blood in her system, and Damon, he's just being so asshole-ish. I mean, he's like, you feed or you die, there is no door number 3, blah, blah, blah. And Stefan is being optimistic. He's saying, you know, Bonnie, she's a really powerful witch, she's done the impossible before, you know, let's just see if she can use her power to kind of keep Elena human. Because Elena, she's not a vampire, she's not a human, she's riding the line. And they think that if Bonnie can use her magic to make Elena human, and Damon is just being, way to give her hopes up for something that's ever happened in the history of vampirism. And then, while saying this, while Damon is basically saying, Elena, you need to feed and transition and finish and turn, he later tells her that he wanted her to have a normal human life. That if that was him instead of Stefan, he would have let Matt die and saved Elena because he wants Elena to have a normal human life. Bullshit! Because if he wanted that for her, he would have been helping Stefan and Bonnie try to find a way to keep Elena human, not running off and going after Rebecca, and not taking out his misplaced anger on Matt, who he blames even though it's not Matt's fault. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's bullshit. Like, when he was there and he was like, oh, Elena, I would have saved you because I want you to have a normal human life. I wanted you to grow old and have kids. I wanted that for you, Elena. I was like, well, then where the hell were you when Stefan and Bonnie were trying to find a way to keep Elena human? Stefan was by Elena's side, making her nasty-tasting sandwiches, and Bonnie was off using her magic to try and save her, all right? Where the hell were you, Damon? You were off being Damon, being angry Damon. Why weren't you trying to help Bonnie? Why weren't you by Elena's side? No, he was off being angry Damon. And if it's like, if you cared about her humanity and keeping her human, you would have tried to help them find a way to keep her human. You ass. I mean, like, Damon's the most awesome character on the show, but I mean, there are times when, like, people just have this great love for Damon and this great love for Delena. I talked about Delena before. I'll get into it when I talk about the relationships. And by the way, I'll be putting out a character review today because I don't have to go in to work until later tonight. So I will be putting my character review up right after this one. Like, people have this great love for Damon and Delena, but Damon is such an ass at times. I mean, like, right now, in this episode, it's like he's like I said, you know, he was just such an ass. And so basically, Elena's freaking out because of the transition, and Jeremy comes in, and Jeremy, he's like, you know, Elena, I need my sister, I don't need another one of them. I was like, well, it's nice to know that if this doesn't work out and she has to turn into a vampire, she'll know how you really feel, Jeremy. She'll still be your sister. I mean, it's not like Buffy, where it's like she'll die and a demon will take over her corpse. No, it's gonna be Elena, she's just gonna be a vampire. So, check yourself, Jeremy, alright? Don't be saying stupid shit. So Elena goes and she breaks a light bulb with her bare hand because it's annoying her. Then we get to Bonnie and okay, for the sake of continuity, I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna say Kyler. When I say Kyler, I mean Klaus and Tyler's body, not Klaus and Tyler together, like in some fan fictions. Okay, so when I say Kyler, I mean Klaus and Tyler's body. So Bonnie is there and she's looking at, oh my God, she's looking at Klaus's corpse, and it's not a pile of ash. It's not. It's a nice preserved little corpse that's burned, but it's still there. What? How? It should be burned up, but it's not. Like, it should have just been like, his coffin is there with his ashes, and Bonnie wants to know, like, what the fuck is this? And the Klaus says, do magic to reassimilate my body from my ashes. Bonnie does that, and because Bonnie does that, she's too weak to do anything else. So she has to tap into dark magic. That would have been fine. You know, but no, like, they just have to just keep, like, why? When you have magic in a show, you can do shit like that. You can do the impossible. But no, they come up with some bullshit about, like, how when Alaric slammed the coffin shut, it snuffed out the fire. Really? Really? Why can't you just be like, oh, it's Klaus's ashes. Bonnie, you know, fucking twinches her nose, Bewitched style, bing! And then Klaus is back. His body is back. And then, oh, well, put me back in my body. Oh, I can't do that right now, I'm too weak. Would have been fine. And then while Bonnie is gathering her strength to do this for Klaus, it's the hilarious Kyler scenario. Come on. And then Kyler comes in, and he's like, oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? And I'm sorry, I'm just going to say this. Michael Trevino talking like Klaus was so awkward and hilarious. And that's why I was really upset. Okay, I'm just going to get into this. What the fuck was up with them getting rid of Kyler in episode 1? Are you serious right now? How hilarious would it have been for Klaus to be in Tyler's body for at least... We have 22 episodes this fucking season. You can't spend at least 4 or 5 with this Kyler scenario? No? You have to get right over it in the first fucking episode? Really? Really? It's like, they're like, oh yeah, well, you know, a lot of the fans love Klaus, let's bring him right back. No! You can spend 4 or 5 episodes with this, like seriously, when Klaus is there and Tyler's mom is calling him, and he answers, like, oh, this incessant woman, beep. Hi, Mom! Like, how hilarious would it have been to see Klaus keeping up this Tyler front for like 4 or 5 episodes? That would have been awesome, man. Like, they just get rid of it? Really? They just get right rid of it? I'm just gonna say that scenario when, like, you know, they're in the cave, and oh my god, and then he makes his claws. He's like, I'm gonna rip out Tyler's heart unless you help me, and I'll jump into someone else. And then Jeremy says exactly what I'm thinking. He needs a witch to do that. He can't do that by himself. And he's like, how do you know I don't have another witch working for me? Or 10. I was like, you wanna know how we know you don't have another witch working for you, Klaus? Because you're going to Bonnie and asking her to swap bodies. Like, he can't, like... It's so obvious he doesn't have another witch or witches working for him, because if he did, he would just have them do the body jumping spell. Like, and they buy into it. They're like, oh my god, don't kill Tyler and we'll switch bodies. Are you kidding me right now? How stupid are you people? Think! I mean, he obviously doesn't have another witch working for him. If he did, he wouldn't be doing this. He would have just gone to that other witch and had them do the body swapping spell. What is wrong with you people? Do they not think? I mean... Oh my god, like when I was watching that, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't have another witch working for you, because if you did, you wouldn't need Bonnie. Oh god, and Bonnie and Jeremy and Caroline, they all just fall for it. Seriously, if I were Bonnie, I would have just walked the fuck out of there. It's like, oh my god, Bonnie, where are you going? I'm leaving, he's full of shit. And I would have left. Oh god. When Stefan, Rebecca, and Elena all get captured by Pastor Young, they're all being locked away in freaking their cells, right? And then, you know, Stefan bashes in that guard's brains, because, like, what? I'd say this. Pastor Young captures them, but he doesn't kill them. Why? Like, what is the point of keeping them all locked up? I mean, seriously, he thinks Elena's a vampire, he knows Stefan's a vampire, and he knows Rebecca's a vampire. Why not just stake them all? And, you know, you can't kill Rebecca, but I'm sorry, the whole thing where originals are completely unkillable, I gotta call bullshit. So you're telling me that if you chop off an original's head, and they're, like, it sounds gruesome, but if you bind an original, right, and, like, Rebecca was bound in this episode, she was all tied up, so it's possible to bind them. If you bind one up, and you take a chainsaw to their neck and arms and legs, and all that shit gets cut off, and then you throw it into an incinerator, nothing's gonna happen? No! You can totally turn an original to ash, alright? And you guys might be thinking, oh, well, remember, they're indestructible. They're not indestructible. They can be harmed. They can just heal from anything. But if you cut shit off, even if it grows back, it's going to take a long-ass time to grow back. So just cut everything off and then throw them in an incinerator, okay? They only become indestructible if they're daggered or staked. You know, whatever. And also that scene where Damon is taking out his misplaced anger, and, you know, he goes, and, you know, he goes to Rebecca, and he's like, and, oh, you should know better to stick up on a lady. Oh, okay. Have you seen one? I was like, what the hell, Damon? Can we not forget that you plowed that last season? All right? Are we just forgetting that, Damon? No. You banged Rebecca's brains out. So don't go saying shit like, oh, have you seen a lady? Okay, then whatever she is, you had sex with her. All right? Whatever, bro. Seriously. So, anyway, and I liked the scene where Caroline and Rebecca were being transported in the van. Like, that crash scene was awesome. But again, like, how awesome would it have been to see Kyler break apart all those cars? How awesome would that have been? Like, we see the inside of the van, and it crashes, and it flips and shit. And then, you know, Kyler rips open the van and saves Caroline. And then, you know, he goes to Rebecca, keep them busy, little sister, and then runs off. I was just like, could we not have seen at least 2 seconds of, like, so what did he do? Did he speed over and flip the cars over? Did he, like, grab a car and, like, run it into the van or something? I mean, what did he do exactly? And again, I don't even know why they're bothering to transport them. Why don't they just stake them already? Like, whatever. How hilarious and hot. And I'm sorry, the best scene of this whole episode was Kyler and Caroline in the woods about to have some awesome, as Caroline would say, epic vampire hybrid sex. I was like, ah! Like, God, I'm sorry, I don't know how Michael Trevino and Candice Legler, I don't know how they haven't just hooked up in real life, because they have the hottest sex scenes together in this whole, I'm sorry, they have the hottest, almost, sex scenes in this whole fucking show. I don't know how you can have such awesome scenes with someone who is so attractive, because they're both really attractive. I don't know how you can have such awesome, hot scenes with each other, and just not at least develop an attraction there. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, I watched that and I'm just like, this seems so organic. How are they not together in real life? Because they should be. Jesus. And so they're going at it, and oh god. And then Klaus is like, oh, wrong time, wrong place, wrong equipment. Because he wants to bang her with his Klaus equipment, not his Tyler equipment. That was so hilarious. Like, how hilarious would it have been to see this for another 3-4 episodes? But no. Julie decides it needs to stop now. The thing about the writing team in the Vampire Diaries, it's like, I don't know how it started, but it started in season 3. They know how to come up with awesome ideas, but they don't know how to develop them, and they don't know how to bring them down good roads. They just have to lead them down these weird dead-end streets. Like Kyler, awesome idea. That's an awesome storyline that you can keep with. But it becomes dead-end. Like, what was the point of putting Klaus in Tyler's body if it's only going to last for 2 episodes? No! Like, it could have lasted. It could have been awesome. It could have been hilarious. It could have led to some really interesting stuff. You could have used it, if anything, to develop Claraline. I think Claraline is ridiculous for the same reason I think Delena is ridiculous. Damon has done way too many horrible things to Elena. Klaus has done way too many horrible things to Caroline and the people that they care about for them to really be an item. But, like, you could have used it to develop that. Have Klaus really have these tender, emotional moments with Caroline, and Caroline kind of fall for it because she thinks it's Tyler. And then after a few episodes, she realizes that the person she's been having all these intimate moments with is really Klaus. And she realizes, oh, maybe Klaus is, like, if anything, you could have used it for the fandom, if anything, because I know that there is a Caroline following, and there is definitely a Delena following. But we got nothing but Delena in season 3, okay? Like, that's why, like, I don't think Delena's good, but we got so much of it in season 3, I was like, okay, if they don't at least have a nice bang session, this whole Delena heavy season is going to be pointless, and it totally was. That's why, like, Delena is ridiculous and kind of ludicrous, but we got nothing but it in season 3, so if they had at least fucked, I would have been like, okay, good, it wasn't completely a waste of time. But it was a giant, colossal waste of my time. And that's why. You could have developed Claraline in the first few episodes of this season. I don't know why they shafted it like they did. Oh, God. Like, it just upsets me. It seriously does. Okay, now, let's get to the council. What was up with that? I mean, they say that they're going to be chasing after everyone, and aside from the fact they just capture them and not kill any of them, then they give them a guard to watch over. Like, why do they need a guard? Like, when Rebecca was there, she's like, oh, God, come over here, and he goes over there. It's like, why is he even there? Why do they even have a guard? I understand if they had someone standing by with, like, wooden vervain bullets or some bullshit, and he was sitting to make sure they didn't escape, but why is he going up to their cells? Why is he talking to them? Why does he go to them when they call for help? You're planning on killing them, aren't you? I don't understand. Why? Is he there to give them water if they ask for it? Why? Or blood, if anything? Like, why? Why are you even there? Why are you even entertaining this notion? It made no sense. Vampire Hunting Council giving them a butler guard. So anyway, when he bashed the guard's brains in, I was like, Elena's gonna transition. And she totally does. And God, am I the only one who thinks that Elena was way too in control of herself this episode? Vicky, Caroline, every other vampire that we've seen turn, immediately after they turn, they feed, and they kill someone because they're just so ravenous and crazy with blood. Caroline, for God's sake, in season 2, she was so ravenous, she couldn't even hug Matt. She couldn't even be near him. She was so ravenous. And now, this episode, Elena becomes a vampire, and the first thing she does is save Matt. A bleeding human on the floor, gushing blood from his neck. She saves him from Damon. She knocks him off. Leave him alone. And I was like, why aren't you eating him right now? He's 2 feet away. She must be starving. He's 2 feet away from her and he's bleeding. She would eat his ass. It would have been better if, like, she tackled Damon, leave him alone, and then she turned and she saw him bleeding, and then she went to eat him, and then Stefan came out of nowhere and saved him and pulled Elena away. Then it's like, oh, okay, she saw he was in trouble, she saved him, but then she went ravenous. No, she saves him, and then the next scene is Stefan giving Matt blood so that his wounds will heal, and then Lena talking with Damon. It's like she's the same person. She's a vampire, but she's the exact same character. And I know I saw scenes for next week where she's going to be a vampire, and we're going to see her becoming ravenous, but it's like she's normal. It's like the very first thing she does when she turns is save Matt and then talk with Damon. No, she would be starving. She would be a hungry vampire. And how the hell did they get out of their cells? We didn't even see a scene where, like, they take the keys off the guard or anything like that. It's like Elena transitions, and then suddenly they're all out of their... Like, Stefan kills the guard, Elena drinks the guard's blood to transition, and then they're all just out of their cells. Can we please see a scene where someone busts out of their cell? Bonnie's whole storyline this episode, I liked it because it really showed that she's no longer loyal to the spirit. She doesn't really have any loyalties to anyone except her friends. Okay, like her grandmother tells her to not use dark magic, but you know what? If dark magic is the only way that she can save her friends, she's gonna use it. That's fine. That's great, as long as it doesn't result in her becoming Dark Willow, which is exactly what I see. Like when she was there and she used black magic to swap Klaus's body with Tyler, put him right back. She's there and you know, her Grams appears, oh, the spirits are taking it out on me. And it's like True Blood when Eric saw Godric get, like, massacred by Lilith. Kind of the same thing, except lamer. Because Grams looks like black veins, and she's screaming, and then poof, she's gone. And Bonnie's just crying, what did I do? Well, Bonnie, you should have called Klaus on his fucking shit. Seriously, if he was gonna do that, and then Bonnie was like, if you had more witches, you wouldn't need me. And then Klaus is like, okay, fine, I'm bluffing. And she was like, okay, fine. Yeah, I'm gonna find a way to do this later. Then Elena becomes a vampire, Bonnie's gathering her strength, and 3-4 episodes later, Klaus gets put back in his body. Why did they have to get rid of that so early on? It was so awesome to watch. It was aggravating. Ugh. And now let's talk about the ending scene. What was up with Pastor Young getting together the council and then blowing them all up? Like, again, like he's like, oh, I've been chosen to lead a movement. When? When were you chosen to lead a movement? 1 minute he wants to save everyone's life from the vampires. The next minute he's willing to blow them all up. So this is what I'm thinking. Off camera, the spirits went to Pastor Young and told him to do this. So that I guess they can become spirits to attack the vampires, I guess, because the only thing that more powerful than the vampires are the spirits. You know, they're on the other side. They can affect the world. You know, and you can't really kill them because they're already dead and they're spirits and they're ghosts or whatever. So I'm guessing Pastor Young did that so he can like attack the vampires from beyond the grave, I guess. But now all I see from that is, well, now the council's dead, so there's no one to stop Liz from becoming the sheriff again. There's no one to stop the mayor from reassuming her position as the mayor. There's no one to hunt down Tyler and Caroline and everyone else. So all I'm seeing is that everything's going to go right back to the status quo. Like, everything's going to go right back to the way it was in seasons 1, 2, and 3, where no one is going after the vampires, and where everything is just copacetic. The only real thing I see that's changed is Elena being a vampire. Everything else is the same. I mean, yeah, except Bonnie. Of course, Bonnie just has to suffer even more. Now her grandmother is in some state of torment in the spirit world because of her. All because she just has to save she just has to pull Klaus out of Tyler's body and put him back in his because Julie Plec doesn't know how to preserve an awesome storyline. All in all, I was really disappointed with this episode. There were some scenes that I really enjoyed. You know, like, say it was sappy, but I enjoyed Stefan's scenes with Elena. I mean, how he's there and he's comforting her. And, you know, even when he tells Damon, like, you weren't there with her the day that she absolutely didn't want this. I was like, yeah, exactly. Damon this whole episode was such a dick. Like, how he's attacking Matt and he says it should have been you. Like, and then he even said that he wouldn't have respected Elena's decision. And Elena even tells Stefan, I love you because you respected my decision. I told you to save Matt, so you saved Matt. Okay? Thank you. And then, you know, Stefan even tells Matt, every morning when you wake up, Elena sacrificed her humanity to save you. Every morning when you wake up, earn it. What the fuck does that mean? Like, I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Earn it. Like, what does that mean? Like, he should be helping them? No. If anything, Matt needs to leave town and go start a nice, normal life somewhere else, away from all these hybrids and vampires, and witches, and spirits. Okay? So, all in all, awesome storylines were present in this episode, but by the end of the episode, they were gone, only to preserve, as I said, the status fucking quo. The council is gone now. At least a big chunk of it is gone. So there's no one who's going to be able to. So there's no one who's going to be hunting the vampires. I don't see how anyone's going to stop Liz and Mayor Lockwood from assuming their roles again in the city, in the town. The vampires, Tyler, Caroline, they don't really even need to go anywhere now because there's no one hunting them anymore. So they can just stay in town. Whatever. And I'm just going to say the ending scene with Klaus, and we didn't even see Klaus revive. Like, what was up with that? Like, Bonnie does her spell, and then 2 scenes later, Klaus is back at the original mansion with, fucking Rebecca. Really? Really? Like, we can't just see Klaus, like, get revived. Like, it would have been awesome. Some awesome healing scene where, like, you know, his body, like, I think it's bullshit that his body is even preserved to begin with. So many things were wasted. And, also, Shishomaru, um one of my viewers left a comment saying that I was really negative about the Vampire Diaries season 3, and that for the sake of my fans, I should really focus on the positive. I was very positive about this show. For the first 2 seasons, I fucking loved this show. How am I supposed to be positive about something that I cannot find anything positive about? I mean, as I said, the one good thing about this episode was that it began with a lot of really interesting beginnings for what could have been really interesting storylines. But by the end of this episode, it all just fell flat because everything just had to go back to the way it's always been. And it was so rushed. It was so rushed. I don't understand. You have 22 episodes. Why are you rushing things? Okay? I gave Teen Wolf a pass because they only had 12 episodes. And even then, it was kind of rushed, but not so rushed that you felt like shit was happening off camera and it insulted your intelligence. No. 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 Teen Wolf can do it. Why can't you do it with double the episodes? I don't understand. You're on a more frequently watched network. Seriously. And it's like, oh, why are you so negative about this? Look at the ratings. Look at the numbers, okay? That's why I'm so fucking negative. I feel like now that Elena's a vampire and there's almost no human protagonists at all, like you have Jeremy and Matt, but that's it. Jeremy and Matt, and that's it. Everyone else is a supernatural creature. This show can really only last after season 4, maybe a 5th and then 6th season, and then I see it just ending. Honestly. Like, I don't know what they're going to go. I don't know where they're going to go from now on. I honestly feel like it's just going to go right back to the status quo. And now that Pastor Young and the council members are dead, we're going to have a whole new spirit storyline, honestly. Because I didn't know what they were doing with spirits last season. Oh, God. This episode was so disappointing because, 1, the trailer looked so badass, and 2, as I've been saying, so many awesome beginnings for storylines that just fell flat and became nothing by the end of the episode. Everything just has to go back to the way it's always been, right? We can't stand change on the Vampire Diaries. We have to preserve every love triangle. We have to preserve everyone staying in Mystic Falls. We have to just preserve everything, don't we? Like, Elena's a vampire now. That's the one thing that changed. And even then, she's still preserved. She's still Elena. She's just a vampire now. Oh, God. So, I'm sorry if you guys wanted me to be more positive. I'm just negative because this was a negative episode. Good luck in life, good luck in love, comment, responds. Like, the one thing that I loved in this episode was the Kyler, Caroline almost sex scene in the woods.